Hello everybody, I'm TychoCelchuuu and welcome to a Company of Heroes 2 Shoutcast. This is between this is between Pappy O'Daniel and Vindicare X. Pappy O'Daniel playing as the United States, Vindicare playing as the OKW, two of the only 4 armies in this game until they reveal which army it is in the alpha. Which is it? I can't tell you. I can't talk about the alpha. I'm not even in the alpha. I didn't even bother signing up. I figure whenever it comes out, I will deal with that shit. So, I'm back. Again, I know I said that last time, but then I instantly recorded like another Shoutcast and a Men of War 2 game, but my computer kept crashing when I was trying to record the Assault Squad 2 game, and then for some reason the Company of Heroes match I recorded wouldn't render or something. It was a bunch of bullshit, so I was like, fuck this, and I went back to writing my dissertation. So now I'm here again shoutcasting. I figured I'm really rusty, so I should play at least a tiny bit of CoH 2 before I shoutcast, so I auto-matched just 5 minutes ago. Kicked some guy's ass, thank you very much, as the Soviets versus OKW. I'm not sure if the guy was any good, but I kicked his ass. I T-34 spammed. I built 2, but by that time the game was kind of over. He wasn't aggressive enough. He didn't try and cap enough the map. But this is a better game between better players, and already we've got aggression from both players. Pappy O'Daniel's put these riflemen into this wonderful little building to try and hold off these Sturm Pioneers, but with the green cover they're not going to have any trouble fighting off the riflemen. So this is just stalling for time. It's kind of weird though, because you would think like my preferred way to play against the OKW, especially as the Soviets where you don't have much firepower against them in the beginning of the match, but also as Americans, is, well, here we go, is stall for time by not getting into fights. Man, that fucking building had a time of it. Stall for time by not getting into fights, especially with these Sturm Pioneers, because they're so powerful, until you can bring overwhelming firepower against them, and that's actually what Pappy O'Daniel managed to do. This fight is happening so close to his base that he got his 2nd Rifleman squad into this fight before long. He's been focus firing these Sturm Pioneers, except for these guys who are getting shot out of the guy on this side of the window who doesn't have anyone else to shoot at. And that focus fire has really been doing a number on the OKW. Look how low they are. This is really dangerous to keep them behind this green cover like this. A couple stray shots could wipe out these Sturm Pioneers, and that would be horrible for him. You don't want your Sturm Pioneers to get wiped out. That's an extremely expensive squad to replace. Now he's returning, and he's gonna get away with one tiny sliver of health, and so that was a really good engagement for the Americans. Paid for it with 3 riflemen, got 3 Sturm Pioneers, and managed to also cap a bit of the map with the rear echelon, which is what you always want to be doing with them, especially if you can tie the OKW down into a fight, like I said early on. So the thing is, Sturm Pioneers cost so much to reinforce. If we click on them, we can't see how. Yes, we do. It's 40 manpower to reinforce a Sturm Pioneer versus 28 to reinforce a Rifleman. So really trading 1 for 1 is really fantastic. Also, he didn't get any damage on the Kubelwagen, which is great, because that shit would just be repaired almost immediately by the Sturm Pioneers. Although now that the Sturm Pioneers are so low health, it's going to take them forever to reinforce too. So can we click on them and see how long it takes? No, it doesn't tell you how long it takes. It doesn't tell you over here either. That would be a nice thing to put in the UI somewhere, but yeah, if you can. The thing is, the more time the Sturm Pioneers have to spend repairing the Kubelwagen, the less time they're out capping. Look at that guy. He was outside the... He's teleporting. The more time the Sturm Pioneers are capping, the more time they're repairing the Kubelwagen, the less time they have for capping. And since the OKW is hurt for capping in the first place, especially once they're pouring manpower into a Kubelwagen instead of the Volksradiers, then their capping power goes way, way down. But of course they can always just repair this while they're capping. The nice thing about the capture zones is that you can do other things while you're inside them. So what you want to be doing is hunting the Kubelwagen so that it doesn't get time to rest, it doesn't get time to be repaired in a point where the enemy can repair it. What is blowing up? These fucking buildings can't last for shit. But yeah, really good job from the Americans harassing this OKW. Looks like he got a grenade in on there. That's what you get when you get Vet 1 Riflemen. And we do have the elite Rifleman training here, so I think these Vet 2, yeah, these veteran Riflemen were called in. That's a pretty good deal. They came in basically Vet 2, so that's some sweet shit. And the OKW is he's in some deep shit. Sorry about the coughing, but yeah, just amazing aggression from the Riflemen, from the Americans, showing exactly how to use these people, not using the rear echelons at all, just using them to cap. We saw them try and sneak past the Kubelwagen at one point. If you can sneak them past the Kubelwagen and get just a bit more damage in without it being able to fire at you, that's always great. But he can't, and that's fine, because his Riflemen are just doing so much work. This elite Rifleman Rifle Company commander being a really tremendous one. Meanwhile, we have ground forces doctrine picked by the OKW so that they can get this MG42 out. And so now that he's picked his doctrine here, we can't go to the other ones that Vindicare X has ready to go, but one of the other ones Vindicare X went into this game was his fortification doctrine, which I see a ton of OKW players using. OKV, I should say, maybe say. A ton of people using that. I just don't understand why. It gets you the LMG-34, which is a good machine gun, but you get that with Luftwaffe. It lets you build, like, emplacements, which are bullshit, and, like, it lets your Volksgrenadiers build minefields. I don't know why you want that, but I don't know. Now these Riflemen not doing quite as well. These Volksgrenadiers are getting good cover, and oh, that's gonna be a good grenade. Oh, really nice. And if the squad goes down, that's gonna suck, because that's a Vet 2 Rifleman squad, and these guys are trying to do as much as that building goes down too. What is wrong with these buildings? Fucking shoddy Russian workmanship or some shit like that. So American player rifle spamming, which is totally acceptable, exactly what you'd expect. I've got some minesweepers out too. Interestingly enough, maybe that was to cut some wire. We did see some wire laid down on this. Well, that was ally wire. This is enemy wire. So there's the MG34. Who's got the flamethrower? Oh no, that was just the unlocking of the ability. The flamethrowers obviously isn't going to buy that. Called another vet squad. That one only had vet 1, but still, it's good to get up heads up there. And straight tech to captain, not even stopping for the lieutenant, which would give you the extra anti-infantry power, not just because the lieutenant comes with a bar, but also because it gets you the M20, which is pretty dope versus enemy infantry, unless they have some sort of AT. We have, meanwhile, attacking to tier 3 up here for the OKV. And there we go, Puma. I was about to ask, what is Vindicare going to build? And now that Vindicare has the fuel for the Puma, there's the Puma. So a real reversal of fortunes for the Americans. After some early good fights, just wasn't able to capitalize on it with the capping power. That's the thing about the Americans, or about anybody fighting OKV, I think. In the early game, you're going to have to choose between winning battles and capping. Wow, that fucking sucks. Well, he bought a, he bought a flamethrower and basically instantly exploded, taking another guy with it. So that's why you don't buy flamethrowers. I don't know why you would buy flamethrowers on your Riflemen. It's a lot of munitions. It's 60 munitions, and it's just not the greatest. And they crit all the fucking time and blow up and kill all your men. So it's kind of like a big shoot me button. Even if your opponent isn't paying attention, it's a big shoot me button. You notice the opponent didn't even realize this was happening. So I think in the early game, as Americans and especially the Soviets, you really have to pick, do you want to win the battles versus the OKV, or do you want to win the capping war versus the OKV? Because you can spread out and cap a lot of the map, or you can concentrate all your firepower and try and push through these Sturm Pioneers and win some battles. I love this camo, by the way. Looks like a zebra. Yeah. A zebra with like measles or something. We'll zoom in later and check that out. But you really have to win. You really have to choose whether you want to win the battles or win the capping war. Typically, I say if you can win the battles, decisively win the battles, then you ought to win the battles, because you can always use the rear echelon, or if you're Soviets, your engineers. Man, that wreck just disappeared. Oh, it's because I turned physics off. Yeah, that makes my frame rate go high. Typically, I think it's better to win the battles than to win the capping war. You can always just win the capping war later because you have a bunch of infantry anyways if you're Americans or Soviets, because they're the infantry-heavy faction, so, you know, spread out over the map. And that's actually what the Americans doing now. But, yeah, the OKV did have a sort of small portion of time where I don't even know how he capped the whole south part of this map, but he was doing a really good job doing that. And so now we have the map basically split 50-50 between the two. No one's really heading up to that capture point, which is a little unfortunate. We look at the fuel income, it's still tipped in the Americans' favor for reasons that are presently unclear to me. 1, 2, 3, 4 points for... Oh, I guess the American does have more strategic points just hanging out. Holding on to this is maybe helping, although it only gives munitions. Holding on to this, no, that's a victory point. What the fuck am I talking about? So now we've reached a bit of a stalemate. What's going to be the next teching choice from the OKV? Maybe another Puma. Who knows? It's not going to be any Collins, obviously, because there's no tank Collins here. What do we have these Sturm Pioneers doing? Laying some sweet, sweet mines, but that's unfortunate. They're caught by the Riflemen, which means they eat a couple crits while they're laying down those mines. They almost finished them, but they weren't able to do it, so that's doubly unfortunate. These guys have Panzerschrecks, kind of jumping the gun there, if you ask me. But, oh, here comes the flamethrowers. Let's see if the flamethrowers gonna do anything. Actually, this might be a good thing if he gets it real close to the building, and they have Vet 2, so that's gonna, Vet 2, yep, weapon control while under fire. I'm not sure what that does, but I think that maybe helps the flamethrower. These people fucking eating it in the church, and luckily they do get out with 2 people alive, and there is the healing base set up for a while. How's the Puma doing? 0 kills. That's exciting. Puma's kind of a pain in the ass from the Americans, obviously, because there's not a lot you can do versus the Puma except with your AT, and the only AT he's got is the captain. But honestly, the anti-infantry power on a Puma is very dependent on just whether you get a couple lucky hits from the Puma gun, and mostly it's just scattering and not hitting anything. So we see 0, 0. Oh, there's that. Wait, no, just kidding. Still. LEL, says Vindicare. I don't know what the fuck is going on here, but there's a Volksgrenadier squad down with the Shrek. So that's really bad, because now the okay, Bay is down to the only AT, only AT is the Puma. Oh, and the rear echelon squad goes down. It's nuts already. Everything is nuts. Mixed nuts. What's up? Wow, okay, they really hurting for squads after losing that Volksgrenadier. What exploded? Was that a mine? Must have been a mine. Didn't do too much. That's good. With the rear echelons down, there's no way to minesweep. These people look so weird when crawling. Unfortunate. So let's take stock. Down to just the Puma for the AT. That got repaired really fast. I just don't know what the OKV is going to tech to next. We have 600 manpower hanging out there for the OKV, so that's going to be something someday. Maybe waiting to see if Fallschirmjäger should get called in. Do we have the 4th truck? Yeah, it looks like the 4th truck hasn't even shown up yet, so we're going to have to wait a little while to see if the OKV does tech to Tier 4. So interestingly, you notice, number 1, the OKV went Tier 2 and Tier 3 before Tier 4, and the Americans have taken this long to get, oh, an ambulance. That's a marauding Puma. If it can one-shot that ambulance, that'd be sweet. I'm not sure if a Puma can one-shot an ambulance, but it can get pretty damn close. Grenade. Oh, nice grenade, zoning out. The Americans getting the extra few seconds of time to capture this point and then maybe retreat without taking any losses. That's an unfortunate retreat path. You would think they'd go this way, but no, I guess it's slightly faster to run through the middle, and it doesn't cost them anything. There's another wreck vanishing into dust. So almost simultaneously we have the 3rd OKV truck showing up, and the OKV dumping a little bit of manpower into one of these little infantry guns with a stubby little thing. Americans, meanwhile, also banking up a fair amount of manpower. They're going to probably need that to reinforce Riflemen, but until then, they're saving it. This is a pretty sweet fight. So we did have a call-in from the Fallschirmjägers, the oh shit button when you're getting flanked by infantry or getting hit by infantry on 2 flanks, which I guess sort of counts as getting flanked. It's a nice oh shit button to call them in. Oh no, this Vet 2 machine gun probably going to die. It's not going to be able to unpack in time, except, oh, it blew up the flamethrower. So there wasn't a final burst from the flamethrower to take it out. And so the oh shit Fallschirmjägers called in a pretty good call-in right there. They forced the Riflemen over here to break off, and they probably also forced these 2 squads to sort of run back rather than continue to give chase. They don't want to get cut off. Looks like he did catch that Rifleman squad on the retreat, so a squad wiped out. So that's paying 440 manpower for the Fallschirmjägers, the oh shit button, to wipe out a vet Rifleman squad. You know, you can call those in for 300. The Fallschirmjägers are more expensive to reinforce than the Riflemen. They only ever make it up to 4 men versus the 5 men for the rifle squads. All things considered, if you can ever avoid buying Fallschirmjägers and instead buy, what are they called? Oberkommandos. It's usually the better choice, just because Fallschirmjägers are so expensive. But, of course, being able to call them in the oh shit button wherever you want on the map is extremely valuable. So it probably cut some of the losses for the OKW in that fight, maybe let his Vet 2 MG34 get out. We have the stubby infantry gun firing, but instead we're going to watch this fight over here. Maybe you guys see a grenade. Yes, we did see a grenade. That was an easy grenade to predict, because you always want to be closing with these Riflemen, and a grenade is what will keep your opponents from closing, but there's no way that Rifleman blob was going to be something the Volksgrenadiers could stand up to, so they had to... What the f... That was a weird fucking curveball of a shot. Did you see that? That was weird. Does that have any kills yet? 0 kills. 0 vet. Also. But I'm excited to see where we end up. How many kills does the Puma have? Still 0. This, really, I think maybe not the best thing. Obviously it's got the survivability, so it's a huge pain in the ass to your opponent because they don't have anything that can kill it. Major. So it's a huge pain in the ass for your opponent who doesn't have anything to kill it except for the captain with the bazooka. But honestly, yeah, watch that infantry gun hit right here and not do fucking anything. The splash damage of these got nerfed a few patches ago, I think. Or got buffed, something like that. Whoa! From green cover to red cover, and that's when the Fauchmakers show up. Notice 6 kills and a vet on these guys, so they're earning their keep already. Excellent job there. Are we gonna see a bundle grenade into here? I want to see a bundle grenade into here. You've got the manpower, or the munitions, 2.5. No, you can't fucking stand around for much longer. You're gonna lose your Fauchmaker squad. It's so expensive to call in. No, no. And we have the Willy P, smoke grenade or smoke, white smoke, whatever the fuck it's this. We got this called in. That's kind of a strange. Whoa. Was that the infantry gun? Yeah, must have been. So kind of a strange call in here. This isn't going to kill anybody. It always just reduces them to like the lowest possible health. Obviously it makes them like mincemeat for any infantry that are shooting at them. But the only reason you'd use this right here is to sort of clear out enemy infantry so you can sort of establish a position. But I don't know what kind of position the American is trying to establish. He doesn't have enough infantry around here. Fucking hell! Was that the infantry gun again? No, that was the Volksraiders. Must have thrown a grenade. Yeah, they threw a grenade. It's on cooldown. Killed a shit ton of people. So Americans just losing too many squads. I'm just kidding. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Riflemen squads, all with Vet 2 or Vet 3. So that's fine unit preservation, I suppose. It would be better to lose fewer squads. Hey, the Puma got a kill. Good job. So I really don't know what that smoke barrage here was for. It obviously pushes these people back. The thing is, this crew weapon wasn't in here. It's really nice to get the smoke weapon on the crew. The smoke barrage on the crew weapons, because then they have to pack up and move, and it takes them a little while. Often you can get a lot of good health damage on them, and then once it's that, your opponent might as well retreat all the way back to base to heal up, which is annoying for them. Takes a lot of time, takes the crew weapon out of combat. I don't know what those Volksraiders were thinking. That building's almost dead too, so yeah, hopping the fence, shit. Ow, what a brutal game so far. Unit preservation could be a bit better from both sides, I would think. Not like I could do any better than them. Remember, when you're fighting against good players, it's harder to preserve your unit, so that doesn't mean they're bad at unit preservation so much. We have the strafing run fucking called in. Also comes with a free, like, bonus package of Fauchmakers, so that's gonna keep the opponent away from the middle, but then they strafe the Fauchmakers just for good measure. It's like, yeah, welcome to Earth. But, was that? Yeah, so both players using expensive area denial skills. Look how, like, this is 130 munitions to call in. Meanwhile, this thing is fucking 250 munitions to call in. Both of them using expensive area denial skills in circumstances where I'm not quite sure that the area needed to be denied. That fucking Puma has some balls on it. With the help of the tiny little infantry support gun, they started to take on the Sherman. The Americans like, oh shit, I gotta pull back. I don't know what's going on. The Sherman's taking damage from tiny things. This could get bad for the Puma. One good AT gun hit, and that thing's gonna be in deep shit. So these are the new Fauchmakers. Really not paying for themselves. They were free in terms of manpower, but at this point they're just giving the opponent experience and costing him in terms of reinforce. How's the infantry gun bombardment doing? I don't even know what it's shooting. If it finds the AT gun, then it can start bombarding it, and that's going to be annoying. This is a nice place for this Tier 4. It would be cool if it were maybe down here and it could shoot over here, but I suppose it's much safer there, and it does protect this cutoff. And the fuel is the more important point that's protecting this fuel down here. So that's a nice place for it. Anyways, we did have the tech up to Tier 4. Veteran Rifleman called in. Who's got the grenade? Where's the grenade? Is that the grenade? That's not the grenade. That's the grenade. That was a Faucha. What the fuck is going on there? Fauchmakers get smoke grenades. I don't know what the fuckity diddle he was planning with those Fauchmakers, but they're just terrible. They're terrible. Fallschirmjägers are just so expensive. I mean, if they come for free with the aerial bombardment, or aerial strafing run, then fine, but that strafing run wasn't able to do anything. Man, this Puma is in man mode. It is destroying that Sherman, not taking any damage. Really impressive. The United States needs to get that AT gun into the fight, perhaps scared of the infantry support gun, which is up to 5 kills. I feel like it's been at 5 kills for quite a while. Man, Vet 5 folks right here is these guys. They've got some unit preservation. Looks like their spine has taken a bit of a damage. Nobody's spine in this entire game is straight. I feel like nobody has a straight back in the entire Company Heroes franchise. Actually, that Rifleman seems like he's pretty good. Nope, he's hunched over. Every fucking person in this entire video game is hunched over. That's bad, bad role models for kids. Kids playing these games are gonna think they can spend their lives hunched over. You can't, kids, trust me. My spine looks like a piece of spaghetti that a cat has vomited, and it's not good. I mean, I assume it's not good. I actually haven't had any negative side effects, but, you know, when I'm 50, I'll probably be like, oh no, oh god. Hey look, the Puma's about to get Vet 1, having killed 1 person, simply from having fired so many times. So there's a lesson there. The harder you try, the better you get, even if you're still terrible. Speaking of terrible, 0 kills on Fallschirmjägers. Now they're just being used to cap stuff. What an ignominious position. Man, this Sherman has been the most ineffective Sherman in the entire world. Look at the infantry gun hitting right here and just suppressing them. That was what got changed. They added suppression to these things in exchange for nerfing how good they are at fighting. Fallschirmjägers getting hunted down by the Sherman. Not fun times. It's got the HE loaded. I guess he doesn't give a shit about the Puma. He's like, this Puma is like the anti-Sherman, so I'm just going to use the Sherman for the anti-infantry. Oh my god, Fallschirmjägers! Oh no! Don't lose the squad! So, I don't know, oh, now we have something coming out of Tier 4. Look, it's a Sturmtiger. Couldn't have seen that coming. I don't know. I should have spent more time trying to predict what players were going to tech to. What's the American going to tech to? I'm predicting another Sherman. Once you've invested in the major so that you're up to the Sherman, you might as well just keep building Shermans, or you can call in, the thing is, you don't need to tech to the Sherman building. Oh, finally the Puma's taken some hits. The AT gun, that's the special mojo that you need versus this Puma. There's a lesson there. Once the AT gun got into the fight, that Sherman was totally fine, even though the Puma was still pushing its shit in because the AT gun was totally protecting it. Now the Puma's gonna have to get repaired for 20 minutes. So you don't really need to tech to the Shermans when you're going the elite or the veteran rifleman commander, because you do get the Easy 8 call-in. Oh, check this shit out! Lost a squad there. Check this shit out. I hope something happens. Check this shit out. Check it out. That AT gun is in trouble. Check. Oh, just kidding. Check this shit out. Nothing's gonna happen. It's just gonna die. Don't stop moving. Don't stop moving. AT grenade. Not sure that was the best tactical decision. It certainly keeps this thing from chasing, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Baiting this thing further in to chase something is probably like better for you if you're in the United States. Oh, check this shit! Nothing. A nice crater and some moments of silence though, so that's good. Yeah, so I would have thought about baiting that further rather than AT grenading it and slightly damaging its engine, making it wary about chasing you. You know what word also means wary? Cherry. That fucking building clap. What is wrong with these things? Cherry. C-H-A-R-Y. I don't know why that word exists, because it just means the same thing as wary. And it sounds like cherry the fruit, so it's just confusing. And it also sounds like wary, so it's confusing. I don't know how these folks right here made it so far, and I don't know what the fuck that Sherman is thinking about, but it's gonna... Oh, wow. In the game of chicken, I would not have expected the folks Grenadiers to give up soon. Maybe they sensed the Riflemen were coming in. Where's this barrage going? Maybe over down here or something. How many kills does the infantry? 10 kills for the little infantry gun. Not the worst, and it's up to Vet 2. So that's exciting. Man, there's just nothing decisive happening in this game. It's just back and forth, people losing infantry left and right, up to Vet 2 on these Fallschirmjägers, Vet 3 on these guys, and so the unit preservation is still a little spotty. I think we lost a Volksranger squad up here. Americans doing pretty well. We do have the second Sherman, as I predicted. Like I said, once you tech up to Shermans, you might as well keep teching up to Shermans. If you look at the costs for what the Shermans cost, this Sherman is 340 and 110. This Sherman is 400 and 145. So it looks like the American actually not hurting for manpower. Riflemen, I guess, being cheap to reinforce even when you're throwing them away like flies. I would like to see maybe another AT gun invested in by the Americans, given that he's got so much manpower. That did nothing. I would like to see another AT gun invested in for the Americans. You might say, why, Tycho, why does he need an AT gun when he's got two Shermans and he's only fighting a Puma and a Sturm thingy? The thing is, the AT guns are just prophylactic. Whoa! Wasn't the Puma. It is this fucking infantry gun. The AT guns are prophylactic. They just keep your opponent from doing anything with their vehicles. This Puma, notice the only time it got fought off when it was attacking the Sherman is when that AT gun was in the mix. And just imagine how much easier it would be with two AT guns just to cover more ground and make sure the Puma doesn't break through. Make sure the Sturmtiger can't do anything. If you can bait the Sturmtiger into chasing you, which it looks like he was going to do the first time if he hadn't thrown the AT grenade. If you can bait him into chasing you, then throw an AT grenade when it's like right here or something, then you can have an AT gun here, an AT gun here, and they'll have like 20 minutes to shoot at it because they'll have to back up or turn around. Either way, it's horrible. And with the damaged engine, it's just so fucking slow. So that would be a way to destroy the Sturmtiger. And then finally, you do have to worry about what else your opponent's going to bust out with. In this case, whoops, why am I clicking on it? In this case, Vindicare is building a Panzer II, which seems like one of those things people would build much less often, or much in very different cases if it weren't like, for some reason, in Tier 4. Tier 4 is kind of a weird place, I think, for the Panzer II. It's often a little late if you're not quick-teching to Tier 4, and if you are quick-teching to Tier 4, even then it's like a fair amount of fuel to get this off. You'd be better off just quick-teching to a Puma. That's a lot easier to get out, as we've seen from the OKV player in this match. And like once you make it to Tier 4, if you want to dump a lot of stuff into anti-infantry, you can get your Oberkommandos. So Panzer II is a really weird thing, but you know, once you're up to Tier 4, you can build it. Oh man, he's gonna lose to that 5 Cannoneer squad because they're in the red car. Oh, the humanity, the humanity. No, why did this have to happen? Some quick and sweet justice, some revenge with this Panzer II, which by the way would be in deep shit if the American had more AT guns, but they only had one AT gun. Really, the entirety of the American AT... Oh, this could be bad. Okay, yeah, quick retreat. The entirety of the American AT resting on the Shermans, and this one AT gun, which could really use some healing or something like that. How's the ambulance doing? Still no kills, so not a very useful ambulance, but I guess it can heal, so that's alright. How come the heavy vehicle camo is not the same as the light and the medium vehicle camo? I do not approve. This is just splotchy. This is some guy at Relic like, just fuck it, I'm drawing circles. Like that is what it is. That is what it is. I am what is. That's from the Bible. So look, it's a flare. I don't know what that was for. I guess to maybe let the AT gun get some hits in, but that's why you need two AT guns. Sherman's really not a replacement for AT guns. Their gun is piddly and weak, and they can get killed by Raketenwerfers. What a weirdly back and forth game. We've got battle lines. Who's gonna, like, no one ever pushes through anybody and causes any decisive blows. The fuck is going on? What the fuck is gonna happen? What's the grenade going? I can't even look. I want to keep watching this. The grenade was down here. Oh, it's just fucking smoke grenades from the Fallschirmjägers. Why would you ever throw those? What do those even do? What is this thing gonna do? What is anything gonna do? I'm confused. I'm scared. Somebody hold me. That was a little infantry gun. Hit, this is firing, and kaboom! Fucking annihilated that rifle squad. Luckily they get out with the squad intact. So that could have been worse. We got a flanking maneuver coming up from the Shermans. I guess they'll come for the Fallschirmjägers who are cloaked. I guess he didn't realize they were cloaked. They cloak and cover. Didn't you know that? You didn't have to worry about the fucking Shermans unless your opponent was good enough to like hunt them down, which that wasn't going to happen. But that was probably a mistake. Just a panic. The flamethrower explodes. Don't buy these things. What a crazy fight. And now everybody's retreating to lick their wounds. Looks like the OKW got the upper hand on that one. If my game was pausing for a sec. Got the upper hand on that one, except down here. Push off. I don't even fucking know What's going on? Tank destroyer is ready for action. That's not a thing I would have expected when you have this much manpower. 600 manpower. 600 manpower. You can buy some AT guns, which granted, they're vulnerable to these little artillery things, which is up to 18 kills. Not so bad. Look at this! Oh my god! Man, Panzer II is better than I thought. Jesus. Oh, that's not good. It's gonna run into the thing. Is they're gonna focus fire? Yes, they are gonna focus fire, but it was a one little burst. I don't know. These guys, a big fan of firing and bursts. Doesn't want to waste the ammo. This is the last hurrah from the Shermans. How many? We only have we have 2 Raketenwerfers, don't we? There's the other one. It's in this building, so is repositioning kind of unfortunate. Decrewed. Oh, nice, nice last hurrah from the Shermans. So that's what happens when I guess the Puma. A little too far back. The Raketenwerfer's not in the fight. The Volksgrenadiers, the Schreck's not in the fight. And, yikes. Ooh, he's gonna take it. So, yeah, with 607, now he's up to 780 manpower. Okay, down to 600. Well, he's got a fuck ton of manpower is my point. And buying a tank destroyer, a Jackson at this point, let's look at what the Jackson costs. The Jackson is 350 manpower and 125 fuel, right? So, for slightly more fuel, for 20 more fuel, and a bunch more manpower, but that's okay. You have, wait, not a bunch more. See, 50 more manpower. Why? Yeah, okay, first, why would you buy the Jackson instead of Easy 8? Honestly, cannot understand why you would make that choice. That's a really weird choice. Jackson, good. Easy 8, better. Second of all, if you want the anti-tank, which is what the Jackson's gonna do, that's all it's gonna do, buy some fucking AT guns. Those, you've got the manpower, those fucking penetrate like hell, and yeah, they're vulnerable to infantry and artillery, but they're cheaper, and they're not gonna get like one-shotted by a Raketenwerfer or some shit like that. Getting some good damage. See, they can do good damage in on the Sturmtiger, just firing from the front without having to worry about like crazy shit happening. This AT gun might be in trouble, and that's being bombarded. Wow, you don't see take traps like fucking 30 minutes into the game very often. What do we have? We've got the Luftwaffe strafing coming in down here. Yeah, just really strange uses of area denial. There's no way this Panzer II plus the Fallschirmjägers plus the folks would have had trouble with fucking rear echelon squad and a rifleman squad. Now there's more rifleman squads here, but he didn't know that when he called in the strafing run. All it forces the opponent to do is back out a bit. Now we have another area denial called in. I don't understand what these call-ins are being used for by these players. These off-maps are nuts with a capital N. And here come the Shermans. Man, suddenly the fight is shifting to the south. Things are getting exciting. I'd like to see the Puma getting repositioned, or maybe a Raketenwerfer or something. Instead, we've got the Volksgrenadiers all alone with their Schrecks. Are going to have to do it versus the Shermans, but that's too bad. They're taking the shitty retreat path through the white phosphorus. Is that going to take off their health bar? It looks like it probably is, and they're fucked up. Wow. Not going to cost a lot to reinforce them, so it's not a huge deal. Meanwhile, that looks like it's maybe being stolen. I don't know. What a fucking amazing match. How are the VPs doing? 100 for... I can never tell. The numbers are fucked up. Well, these are ticking down, right? Let me just keep looking at them for... Yeah, these are ticking down. So these are the OKV. And these are the allies. So, yeah. Crowd's down on VPs and things are looking... Oh, that was the AT gun. It would be nice if you had another AT gun, wouldn't it? This is the last remaining member of it. See, wouldn't it be nice to have another AT gun rather than this fucking Jackson, which is getting owned by the Puma? Wouldn't it be nice to have another AT gun to hold this stuff off? Like, that would be amazing. Instead, he's got to bring the Shermans in, he's got to bring the Jackson in. The Jackson's already been pushed off by the Puma. The Shermans themselves, taking some good hits from the Puma. Maybe they're going to be able to kill the Panzer II. Puma pops the smoke, but the Panzer II is the beneficiary. This thing's up to 24 kills, and the Americans just not able to keep pushing forward. The Shermans just don't have the armor. They're not even easy 8s, and so the Americans just doing the best as they can to keep the pressure up on the OKV, but I don't understand the teching choices, I gotta say. Now, still 300 manpower in the bank, not a ton, but he's been losing a shit ton of riflemen. It has to reinforce 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 squads of riflemen, all of them with Vet 3, or one. This little guy's got Vet 2. What the fuck is wrong with you guys? Oh, they're like a tiny sliver away from Vet 3, so that explains what's going on. What a game! Weirdly static in a lot of ways. Like, it's just been split down the middle the whole time. I feel like the OKV could have push through, given the Allied lack of AT guns. If, number one, they had invested a bit more in vehicles, you know, instead of dumping shit into this Sturmtiger, which has done fuck all. I killed an AT gun, I guess that was nice. Instead of dumping shit into this Sturmtiger, I'd like to see maybe a Panther that could hold its own versus the Shermans. Like a Panther would give you the push through, punch through potential versus the Shermans. If we look at the cost, 490, 175 versus 560, 160. So honestly, it's not much harder to get a Panther than it is to get a Sturmtiger. Especially when your opponent isn't getting too many AT guns, although he doesn't know that. Maybe get another Puma. We've seen how amazing the Pumas can be versus the Shermans. Oh, there's a Rifleman squad down. So some more mobile vehicles, some punch-through vehicles for the OKV would be good. And then instead of these Fallschirmjägers, which are sort of glass cannons, we got a smoke barrage coming in. Who launched that? That was the Sherman, I guess. That was just so the Allies could set up, I suppose. I don't think I've ever heard Kraut 43 incoming rockets. That's, I guess, for the Raketenwerfer. That's a new voice. Yeah, so some more mobile armor on the part of the OKV, plus some infantry that can fucking stand up in a fight. So I'm talking maybe some Oberkommandos, maybe just more Volksraiders because they're a lot cheaper than the Fallschirmjägers. Things like that, teching to different things, would have given the OKV probably the potential to punch through these American lines because there's really not a lot of defense aside from Shermans or whatever, and we know how fast those crumble versus concentrated Puma Panther fire. It would just be a massacre, a slaughter. Instead, the OKV is sort of on the back foot for a lot of the time, relying on this infantry support gun, up to 28 kills on Vet Force. That's impressive, but hasn't been doing too bad on the back foot, except that the Americans have just managed to push up such that they've held most of the VPs for most of the game. This thing is getting fucking pummeled. It doesn't give a shit. I don't give a fuck. YOLO. I don't know what kind of trade that was, but that's a trade. M2 flamethrower completed. Don't fucking do this to your rifleman. Why would you do that? I feel bad for a rifleman. Like, it's just a death sentence. Meanwhile, Faust... Wait, that's not a Faust. Meanwhile, I think just Puma and Raketenwerfer fire, showing why this Jackson maybe not the most tremendous thing. We saw how hard it is for the AT guns to go down. The OKV has to invest Sturmtiger shots to get these AT guns down, so that's what I would like to see. I feel like I'm a broken record. I gotta stop saying that. You're on the wrong side of the green cover, motherfuckers. You came to the wrong neighborhood, motherfuckers. You're dying. You're dying. You're good bait, but you're dying. Let's see if this guy gets critted and his flamethrower explodes. What do you want to bet the odds are? Oh, there's only one guy firing now, so probably not going to happen. Oh, grenade! Wow, that was I think that might have been the grenade getting the kill. I don't know, it's tough to tell. So that was a raging offensive, just back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. The OKV needs some more repairing going on. The Sturm Pioneers had to. Oh no, they're not. Whew. Good, got the retreat in. Stolen injury 34. So that was the constant assaults from the OKV have accomplished what they are trying to accomplish. What is this? Where is this firing from? There it is. Have accomplished what he's trying to accomplish. He's gotten the VPs, all three of them briefly. Now it's just two. With Fallschirmjägers behind cover, especially cloaked, so your opponent can't see him until it's too late. Fallschirmjägers behind cover. That is the way to hold on to these VPs. So that's what Fallschirmjägers really excel at. That and showing up from fucking middle of nowhere in a building. Surprise. So that's what I like to see the Fallschirmjägers for. They're weak. They're not good for frontal assaults if your opponent can see them coming. They're not good for long flanks where they have to run around a lot, take a lot of fire. But just fucking behind some logs, jerking off until the opponent shows up, and then they're invisible, and then they're like, surprise, I'm here. And we have more Fallschirmjäger strafing called in. Wow, that was for once it did something. He's going to pay for it with a Fallschirmjäger squad trying to capture this point. These are not the people you want to be capturing the points. You want them to be the Fallschirmjäger. That was a nice swap right there. He kept it capturing in the capture zone just until the new ones came in. But look at their health bar. Look how dying these people are. Look at them fucking dying. Now they're going to do the switcheroo again. The old Fallschirmjäger switcheroo. No, retreat, retreat, retreat. You must retreat. Yeah, there you go. And here comes the Puma to save the day. Tank destroyer has to run in fear from the Puma, and every time there has been a strafing run called in, we have had a white phosphorus barrage in response, or vice versa. I would like to point that out. That is very remarkable, especially because the WP costs half as much, basically, as the strafing run, so that the OKV can keep up the tit for tat. That's pretty impressive. Holy shit. So we're down to the wire now. If the OKV can hold on to these VPs, they can really come back. It's just, finally we have a Panther. This is going to be the turning point. If anything's the turning point, I'm predicting these guys are going to get fucked. Nice dodge. Also impressive because these guys have been throwing grenades, so that also impressive that they can keep up munitions-wise. Do we still have the Fallschirmjägers down here? No, they got pushed off from something. It's unfortunate that I couldn't see that. So the American really has a hell of an armor contingent right now. We have one Sherman, a Sherman EZ-8, a Sherman, a Jackson, and a Jackson. So that's pretty fucking amazing. But you notice how little the Americans getting for that, because you gotta keep the Jacksons basically here. There's nowhere else you can run them around unless you want to get risky with them because they're so weak. The Shermans finally, maybe now we have enough critical mass to do something with them. This thing needs repairing. This thing is getting repaired, so they're just out of commission a lot of the time, and it's really, I think, only from lack of Panthers that the American hasn't been getting even worse use out of these Shermans. That's unlucky for the OKV, these infantry pushing off these Shreks right when the Shreks are needed. This Panther could be in trouble. A nice bounce, nice way keeping the Jackson off. So the Jackson already down to a third health. We have the flank coming up. The EZ-8 is going to be the decisive factor in this fight. It looks like the Panther is pushed back, Sherman at half health. So meanwhile we have an assault being completely held off by the stolen MG-34. There's a lesson there, I suppose. But this ends in a stalemate. Both sides retreating to lick their wounds. Americans have a much easier time licking wounds. Americans amazing lickers. Squad down. Americans amazing lickers. The tanks can lick themselves effectively with their own tank crew. That sounds a little lewd, but that's just the circle of life, folks. Okay, the only way they can lick themselves is by hanging out by the licking truck. Lick here being a euphemism for repair, if you haven't caught on. Yeah, is this guy with the flamethrower gonna explode? I'm excited. I'm excited. Fallschirmjäger's kind of taking it in the face, actually. Oh, he's the last one alive. Could have fooled me. Whoop. Vet 5 or Kentwerfer, you don't want to tangle with that shit. So this is really unfortunate. It's gonna get set up. It's gonna get a rear hit on this EZ-8. That's gonna be bad. Fire, 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 fire. No, it's set to hold fire. Puma, meanwhile, doing enough. Grenade coming in. I don't know. Yep, nope. It's still the MG-34 holding off fucking everything. That's doing a lot of work for the Americans. Finally, this guy comes up, but there's a Sherman here, and this squad is almost going down. Oh, wow. Just a couple bursts. I'm really liking this Panzer II. I gotta build one of these every once in a while, but you gotta get to tier 4 for it. Seems kind of beside the point. So now we have a blitz. VP's getting really dangerous for both players. Jackson's in the fight. Sherman's in the fight. Panzer II eats a Jackson shot, then the Panther eats a Jackson shot. So it was good that the Panzer II ate that one first, I think. Gave the Panther time to fire with the Jackson, but now the Panther's really getting blown up, and that's really unfortunate. Nice grenade, bundle grenade, finally, from these Fallschirmjägers. That's what you should spend your munitions on. Now we get the Rakettenwerfer coming in. This is the Vet 2 one. Do we have the Vet 5 one up here? It's got to turn around. If that one had turned around and been firing at these Shermans, this would be an entirely different match right now. That would have been nuts. Probably would have killed a Sherman at least. One Sherman is down. This one's finally going. It's going to catch this Sherman from behind. How's this Panther going? Nothing's happening. This Rakettenwerfer is firing at this one. What's going to happen? He's getting double teamed by the Rakettenwerfers. A Vet 2 and a Vet 5. It gets a nice shot off. It's rotating a little bit and doesn't manage to catch it. So that's really unfortunate. Had the OKV been more on the ball with this thing, if it had been set up here before that assault happened, probably could have either stopped the assault, kept the Panther in the fight, maybe killed the Jackson, or even caught two, maybe one Sherman, one or two. As it stands, did a lot of damage, so the American's going to have to spend quite a bit of time licking. If you're a fan of licking, I've got good news. This thing isn't repairing itself. What a fucking nuts fight. I think the OKV may be able to turn this around. The Americans at this point still have a fairly good contingent of riflemen, but maybe not quite enough. How many kills does this artillery have? 36 and Vet 5. Here comes the EZ-8 versus the Puma and the Panzer II. Meanwhile, yeah, Fallschirmjägers versus rear echelon. That seems like it's always going on when I look down there. Either there's nothing happening or there's Fallschirmjägers fighting rear echelon. Rear echelon down now. Where are the Raketenwerfers? We need you. We need you badly. We're back here having been repaired and rearmed. That's good. Shrek's doing a number on the easy ace. Looks like finally the Panzer II is down. Americans paying for it through the nose. The Puma plus the Panther. And now the Puma with the Vet 5 or Vet 4 is fucking... Okay, that's basically GG for the Americans. The Easy 8 is down. The Jackson is down. The Jackson is down, having paid for it only with a GG Nate, mate. Yeah, what a fucking nuts match. Can I make this fucking noise stop? Yes, I'll zoom down here. So, really great stuff. I would have liked to maybe see more Oberkommando and less Fallschirmjäger from these guys. The Oberkommando can hold the point even better than the Fallschirmjäger, honestly, with their LMGs and cover. Would like to see maybe some more armor. It's when the Panther came that I think this game really turned around. It wasn't a huge impact at first, it didn't look like, but I think that really shifted the whole dynamic of the match. So I got to give props to finally building a Panther. Maybe would have done that sooner. Maybe before the Sturmtiger that would have shut down the American armor. And for the Americans, build more AT guns. I have been TychoCelchuuu, and I love you.